You just finished doing your taxes. You hit that e-file button and sit back and wait for that direct deposit to hit. A couple days turn into a couple weeks, then a month. You start getting nervous because that money is already spent in your head. Then out of nowhere, you get a letter or an email from the IRS. Somebody claimed your kids on their tax return. What do you do now? That's the topic of today's video on the other side of the break.
1-877-LEVY King, L-E-V-Y, Levy King, 1-877-LEVY King, LevyKing.com.
Owe back taxes to the IRS? Call the Levy King. He's the best. 877-Levy King, LevyKing.com.
1-877-LEVY King, LevyKing.com.
What's up, guys? Corey Hankerson here from Legacy Tax, and they call me the Levy King because I've helped thousands of clients with unfiled returns, back taxes, tax liens, and that's right, IRS levies. If the IRS took your check, the Levy King will get it back. 1-877-LEVY King, LevyKing.com. I'm also the author of End the Tax Nightmare, Insider Secrets to Beat the IRS and Reduce Your Tax Debt. Inside the book, I'll show you how to stop IRS levies, liens, and garnishments without paying the tax in full, how to set up the payment plan you want and not the one they want, and how to potentially settle your tax debt for less than you actually owe. My book has been a top seller on Amazon for years. You can buy it right now for $19.99, but I want to give you a copy of the book absolutely free. Just go over to my website, www.endthetaxnightmare.com, and enter your name and email, and I'll send you a copy right away. No charge, not even for shipping, totally free. But before we go any further with the video, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and hit that notification bell so you'll get a heads up each and every time we drop a new video. Okay, guys, let's dive into today's content. All right, so the general rule is that only one person at a time can claim a dependent on their tax return. Both parents cannot claim the same kid at the same time. Also, the kid cannot file a tax return claiming himself if a parent also files a return claiming him as a dependent. The first return file will be processed and it'll get all of the associated deductions and credits and benefits, such as the head of household status, along with the exemption for the child tax credit, the child and dependent care credit, the earned income credit, etc. In addition, that parent or that person is also going to get to claim the tuition and daycare expenses that they may be paying, any other educational deductions or credits. The second person is just basically going to be rejected and they'll get nothing, nada, zippo, right? So how does this happen? I normally see this happen in three different types of scenarios, right? The first the most common one is dealing with divorced or separated parents. When parents are divorced or separated, there's normally a divorce decree or some type of separation agreement that's going to govern who gets to claim the kids. Maybe one parent always claims the kids, or maybe they alternate, or maybe there are two kids and, you claim this one and I claim that one type of deal. But sometimes you get that parent who knows they weren't allowed to claim the kid, but they do it anyway. They knew they were wrong, but because they filed first, they're going to get the dependent and all the associated tax benefits. Now, I've also seen it happen with college-aged students or kids who file their own tax returns. Maybe the kid is away at college and working a part-time job. He files his own return to get that nice fat tax refund. If he claims himself as a dependent, mom and dad won't be able to claim him when they file their own tax return. Now, even if the parent pays the tuition, even if the kid lives in the parent's home, running up the light bill and eating all of his parents' food, they still won't be able to claim him as a dependent on their tax returns because he has already claimed himself. The worst scenario by far involves someone else claiming your kid, someone you don't know, or even someone you do know, but they're not filing with you. They're not his parent. They're claiming your kid. Every now and again, I have a potential client who calls me after receiving a letter from the IRS disallowing a dependent because the IRS thinks that that child belongs to someone else who let you claim their kid in order to get a large refund. In this case, you're in trouble. You're going to need to prove that it is your kid. And if it's not, there are severe penalties associated with claiming someone else's child. So just don't do it. Bad business. So who can claim a dependent? Let's go over who is actually entitled to be your dependent, or who you can claim as a dependent. To claim a child as your dependent, you need to meet the relationship, residence, age, and support tests. First up is relationship. The dependent must be your child or your stepchild, whether by blood or by adoption. They can be your foster child, they could be a sibling, or a descendant of any one of those categories we just mentioned, such as a grandchild, right? That's your child's child. You can claim a grandchild. The second is the residence test. The dependent must have lived with you in your home for more than half of the tax year. The next up is the age test. The dependent must be under the age of 19 or under the age of 24 and a full-time student, or be permanently and totally disabled. Finally is the support test. You must have provided more than 50% of the child's support cost for that particular tax year. If you can meet these 4 tests, then you can generally claim your kid as a dependent. If someone else claims your dependent that you are legally entitled to claim, here's what you do. You're going to prepare a tax return and file it by mail. No e-filing here. You want to claim your dependent and include any related credits or deductions that you may be entitled to. You're going to mail the whole return to the IRS via certified mail, along with a statement explaining why you are legitimately entitled to claim the dependent. When 2 parents or 2 people are both asserting the right to claim a child, the IRS is going to evaluate both claims based on what they call the tiebreaker rules. Here are the rules. If 2 people claim a child and only one is actually the parent, the IRS will give the dependent to the parent, not to the other person. Number 2, if the parents do not file a joint return together, but both claim the child, the IRS will give the dependent to the parent that spent the most nights with the child in their home. And they go by they're going to actually count up the number of nights, right? So, and the one with the most nights wins. Number 3, the IRS will give the dependent to the parent with the highest AGI if the child spent his time equally with both parents during the year, or if neither parent can legitimately claim the child because the child doesn't actually live with either parent. Along with your statement arguing why you should be the one who's legitimately entitled to claim the child as a dependent, you're going to need to include supporting documents like birth certificates and or school records. The IRS has a resource to help you determine which supporting documents you'll need to include to prove your case. You want to download IRS Form 8668-DEP, which gives various scenarios and lists the documents you'll need to provide. Link to the download in the description below. You want to send the whole thing by certified mail, and 6 months to a year later, you should hear back from the IRS. If you owe back taxes to the IRS or have a complicated IRS problem, I want you to know that there are special programs in place to help you get a fresh start. But how do you know if you qualify? You see, no 2 cases are exactly alike. So how do you know what your options are? Well, I've created a free tool to help you get that information. Just head over to www.levyking.com or click the link below. Follow the prompts and answer a few simple questions, and we'll help you figure out your eligibility. That website again is www.levyking.com. Or you can give us a call at 1-877-LEVY-KING. That's it for this week, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.